I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Introducing next from the Caribbean, weighing 220 pounds, Carlito!
And Carlito, of course, a superstar from Raw, John, and this is what we're talking about. And what makes this matchup interesting is the history between Ric Flair and Carlito. At one time, Carlito was sort of a protege of Ric Flair, but then slapped Flair in the face, showing him disrespect, saying he didn't need another father figure in his life. He already had one.
He had one. In fact, I worked for his father down in Puerto Rico. He still owes me money.
So the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, to start things off against Carlito. And that is what the 16-time former world champion is all about.
And quite honestly, Carlito has a chance to be mentored by the greatest wrestler that has ever lived, Ric Flair, and he spits in Ric Flair's face. No respect whatsoever.
Well, John, it all began when Ric Flair questioned the passion of Carlito. Said that Carlito didn't have what it takes to be a star in this industry. And Ric Flair basically saying that Carlito believed everything should be handed to him because of, well, who his father was. And a cheap shot. And that is what Carlito's all about.
Oh, that's what Ric Flair is all about. Hype him up like the 4th of July.
Ric Flair still fired up. Mentioned at Vengeance, well, in my estimation, John, big back body drop. Flair should have won the United States Championship at Vengeance. MVP surviving. A Cheap J stronghold-like high knee lift by Carlito, taking control of the match. First cover of the matchup, hook of the leg, and a kick out.
What Flair basically was saying is what is true in life. Ambition skips a generation. You know, the great Carlos Colon, Ric Flair knew very well, wrestled many times. And he's saying Carlito thinks it should be handed to him because of his father. Doesn't work.
The lack of passion speak by Ric Flair did, though, seem to stir some passion in Carlito over the past few months. Cover, hook to the leg, yet again, and a kick out by Flair.
The only dumb thing Carlito did was get rid of Torrie Wilson.
No, that's true. Why would you dump Torrie Wilson? I still can't fathom that.
How did he get Torrie Wilson?
Well, that's a good question.
Look at his hair.
Torrie Wilson, of course, one of SmackDown's newest divas. She came to us via the draft as well. Southpaw Carlito connecting. John, you talk about, wrestling as Southpaw. How much more difficult is it?
Everything is unorthodox to you because they move different. They move with a different foot, a different hand. Everything you do is catered to right-handed people. It's something that you have to get accustomed to, and it takes a while. You have to have done it several times, which Ric Flair has done.
And if you watch Carlito in the ring, nice drop kick. Picture perfect. Quickly to the cover again. Hooks the leg, kick out at one. You watch Carlito, much like a switch hitter in baseball, uses both hands very well. Flair trying to battle back into the match. Look at Carlito going right to work on those ribs. And the ribs of Ric Flair first injured in that big tag match where he teamed with Batista against Edge and MVP last week on SmackDown, and then MVP exposed those ribs as well this past Sunday.
One thing about Carlito, and to me, I always hated a person trying to live off his father. Something Ric Flair sunk in. Look at him. Carlito's gotten in better shape. His wrestling has gotten better. Ric Flair has done him a huge favor.
And Ric Flair in a great interview on WWE.com, talking about the match this past Sunday against MVP, said he's flattered. He's flattered that these young superstars like Carlito and MVP would look at knocking him off as another notch in his belt. But he says Ric Flair will not go down easily, and he's going to teach these kids a lesson in his words. And Carlito continuing the pressure on the midsection. The injured, bruised ribs of Ric Flair.
And these people here in San Antonio, Michael, are used to rooting for champions like Ric Flair. I was sitting in this building when David Robinson retired and San Antonio won their second championship.
And of course, the defending NBA champions again this year.
And Tony Parker got Eva Longoria because of it.
Well, marriage is soon. Were you invited?
No.
You mean you weren't invited to the marriage of the year?
No, I think he was worried Eva would leave with me.
I know you can afford the airfare to Paris. No, and Carlito.
And I just love the French.
Carlito wearing down those ribs. John, when you attack the ribs, it takes, oh, here's the cover. Carlito, kick out again. When you attack the ribs, John, it takes away so many parts of your game.
Completely. I've had broken ribs a couple times in my life. There's nothing you can do when you have a rib injury. You can't move, you can't breathe, you can't react right, you can't lift somebody.
And so much about this game in the ring is breathing. Being able to breathe properly, take in the breath.
Being able to relax. You have to be able to, in a point in a match, be able to catch your breath.
Oh!
That'll knock the breath out of you.
Nature Boy. Every time Ric Flair tries to get back in it, Carlito back on offense. Oh! And Ric Flair really looks out of it. Those ribs may be affecting him more than he's showing. And a cover and a kick out again by Flair at 2.
But what a great thing for a youngster coming up in this business to get the opportunity to wrestle Ric Flair. Not to mention the opportunity to knock off a Ric Flair like MVP did this past Sunday at Vengeance.
And what did that victory mean for MVP? Tainted or not, in my mind, it was a huge win for the United States champion.
Well, he poked him in the eye, and then he hit him with his finishing maneuver, the playmaker. But what it did for MVP was a defining moment in his career. He beat the greatest of all time. And that's something that you build on for the future.
And we will see MVP in action a little bit later on tonight in Friday Night Smackdown against Kane, the Big Red Machine, as Ric Flair tries to get back into the match. Back to a vertical base. The Nature Boy, perhaps feeding off pure adrenaline. And this is what passion is all about. This is what intensity is all about. Ric Flair teaching Carlito a lesson.
Look at Flair, he's feeling it. You gotta love this. You gotta love when a guy gets into it, when a Tim Duncan, a Michael Jordan, a Ric Flair is feeling it in the Nature Boy. Look at him.
How much does Ric Flair love doing what he does?
Styling and profiling the original rated R superstar.
Big back body drop. Carlito in deep, deep trouble.
I think the Nature Boy feels like a kamikaze.
Oh, nobody home for Carlito! And Flair!
Bad news!
The patented figure 4 leg lock!
It's ball game.
Submission
Got
time.
him in the middle of the ring.
Will Carlito tap out?
You better believe he'll tap.
Carlito has nowhere to go! Carlito desperately!
He's got it cinched deep.
Desperately reaching for the bottom rope, but he's a fingertip away! And Flair yanks Carlito back to the center of the ring, goes right back to work on the legs. Now that's veteran. That is a veteran, John. Realized Carlito was going to get to the ropes anyway and break the hold. He pulled him back in the ring and never let up. He goes right back for the figure 4 for a second time. Will Carlito tap to the legendary figure 4 leg lock?
The Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Well, Carlito, that is what passion is all about. Ric Flair, for decades in this industry, as passionate as they come, he loves to have fun in the ring. He loves what he does. And for Ric Flair, he can call Smackdown his new home.
Moments like this, Michael, you look for. The Nature Boy putting on the figure 4.